Woo! Man, I got to tell you, that was close. I thought we were going to get through a season without hearing anything stupid out of Sheryl Swoopes' mouth and anything that sounds rather interesting, something that you might choose to give some side eye to, because you got to wonder if there's not something else that's motivating said comments. All right, just especially when you're talking about two young blonde-headed ladies.
The season began quietly for the WNBA, but suddenly everything changed. Sheryl Swoopes set everything on fire as she stepped in. A roster decision by the Indiana Fever infuriated one of the league's best players, and the conclusion of the drama has already arrived. Besides, it's not even opening night yet.
On a basketball team, and you have a black player that just got cut, and Sheryl Swoopes is not happy about that. Call me nuts, but unfortunately for the old WNBA fandom and media, in her case, media and old players, unfortunately, in some cases, you do feel like there is something else lurking behind said opinions that may not be basketball related. Let's put it that way. Because, I mean, after all...
So what's really going on here? Why is Sheryl Swoopes unhappy? And may the Indiana Fever's personnel adjustments be a cover for more significant issues? Let's analyze every aspect of the WNBA.
We saw Sheryl Swoopes in rare form, hating on Caitlin Clark all last year. Well, maybe she has figured out, well, hating on Clark, I've been told that's not really a great idea, yada, yada, yada. So what other white girls can I tune up from the Indiana Fever? Yeah, here we are. My goodness, I mean, we've had 2 preseason games.
The 2025 season is coming up quickly, and anticipation is rising. The supporters are ecstatic. In fact, even former athletes, like 3-time MVP Sheryl Swoopes, are speaking out, and it's very noisy. Swoopes recently appeared on the Women's Hoop Show, and she didn't hold back. Brea Hall, a freshman, was just benched by the Indiana Fever, her goal.
And we're back to it. We're back here. She's criticizing Stephanie White. I bet Sheryl Swoopes hates that last name. Criticizing Stephanie White, and of course it relates to Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham. Ooh, I bet Sheryl Swoopes hates her some Sophie Cunningham. You know she does. You know it.
And that decision, in Swoopes' view, was not just questionable but completely confusing. For context, during the first preseason game against the Washington Mystics, Hall did not even touch the court. Yes, precisely 0 minutes. And this is the preseason in question, the amount of time teams have to evaluate incoming players and decide who should make the final squad. Swoopes questioned why Hall did not get any playing time at all.
The 2025 WNBA season is right around the corner, and the anticipation is building. Fans are buzzing. Even legends like 3-time MVP Sheryl Swoopes are getting in on the excitement. Swoopes appeared on the latest episode of the Women's Hoop Show. By the way, I did go look.
Especially when there were more seasoned women competing who are already well known in the league, such as Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. Even though those veterans are expected to make the final team, Swoopes believes Hall should at least get a shot under real game conditions. This is what she said.
Some of these episodes looks like they won't have her or didn't have her, but on this episode, she was back in rare form. Oh, shit. God almighty. Wow. Swoopes appeared on the latest episode of the Women's Hoop Show, where she discussed the topics around the WNBA, including...
There were still players like Brea Hall, who had been in the league for a long time, despite the absence of 2 starters, Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hall. What prevented her from really playing the game? If you're still trying to determine who will make the squad, who are you going to cut? I don't really know what Steph White was doing because of this.
Keep in mind, a lot of this team is new to each other. So getting minutes upon with a new player like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull together, and some of these others, veterans, I'm sure is a priority. It's not about getting the minutes to prove whether or not they make the team. This team has to build actual chemistry if they want to win a title. That's what this is about.
Swoopes emphasized that preseason is about testing on certain players. Exposure to real game situations helps gauge their reaction and evaluate talent, she said. Hull was benched and cut without a chance to prove herself. Preseason isn't for players you know will make the team, Swoopes added. The issue is not knowing enough about Hull's potential, and she should have been given a real game opportunity.
God almighty. In the first preseason game against Washington Mystics, Hull didn't see the court at all. Quote, even though the starters weren't in, like Sophie Cunningham and Lexi Hull, they've been in the league for a while. You actually had players like Bree Hall. Why wasn't she in that game, per se? Per se? If you are still trying to figure out who's going to make the team, who you're going to cut. So I'm a little confused with what Steph White was doing. Oh my goodness, okay.
Swoopes suggested giving Hull a few minutes to see how she performs. She also noted that the Indiana Fever has many new players, and their core four doesn't include Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Lexi Hull, or Aaliyah Boston. The team is mostly new, with veterans like Demers Dantis. With Stephanie White as the new head coach, Swoopes believes the focus should be on building rapport, understanding the system, and giving everyone, especially the newcomers, an equal chance. Let's be honest about that.
Swoopes then went on to share her viewpoint on the preseason, emphasizing that it's about evaluating players a coach may be unsure of rather than the ones already returning. Quote, but to me, when you think about the preseason, it really isn't so much for your players that you know are returning, the players that are gonna make the team, Swoopes added.
The coach is concerned with more than just individual performances. She must manage team dynamics, chemistry, and how all the new components fit together. Swoopes continued to wonder why Bree Hall was denied a real opportunity. But here's when things start to shift, as basketball is no longer the main subject of conversation.
But it's more about, I'm sure, about this particular player. Let me get her in a real-life game situation, see how she handled it. But I'm also going to probably play her a few minutes with my starters to see how that looks, how that works. Okay, again, the whole team outside of your core four, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull, basically the whole rest of the whole team's new. Dantis is on there. Oh, you get my point, but you got a bunch of new pieces on this team.
Sheryl Swoopes' comments have often been seen as favoring a specific type of player, especially white ones. Last season, she criticized Caitlin Clark harshly, questioning her achievements and scoring history. With Clark's increased promotion in the league this year, many fans expected the atmosphere to change.
All right, the preseason doesn't have to be just about your draft picks at all. It can be about, I need this team to learn how to build chemistry on the floor together, working as a team. By the way, learning my system because I'm a new coach and we're not playing under the Christy Sides rules anymore. You played basketball, Sheryl Swoopes? I don't understand. Here we are. It is May the 8th, 8:03 a.m. Central in the morning, and Sheryl Swoopes is in mid-season hateration form.
But it didn't. Instead, a new pattern is emerging. With the removal of black player Bree Hall, Swoopes is now targeting Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham, both of whom are white.
I'm sorry, this looks a different way to me. All right? You just, there's no other way around it. And I knew somebody, I've seen the retards online. I've seen some of them already doing the whole, thank God Bree Hall is no longer on the Indiana Fever.
She believes both veterans were arbitrarily given priority over Hall. And let's be honest, when you see a trend like that,